Hi, and welcome to a fresh new episode of Career Growth. Like always, I have got a new episode for you. And to discuss today, I've got Chandni with me. She is also a counselor and will be discussing on myths related to counseling. I've heard the word counseling every now and then, be it a school, be it a college, be it a classes, or even for that matter in general. Everyone has a passion to counsel somebody. So, what do you really mean by counseling, Chani?
Well, counseling is a process where the counselor tries to provide a safe, non judgmental environment to the client. So, anybody who's going through some difficult time, some difficult phase, they can go to the counselor and the counselor will give them certain skills, certain perspectives, certain ideas, certain pros and cons regarding the issues so that they are able to solve their issues, solve their problems then and later.
So, Chani, when you talk about issues, what exactly are the issues that you really deal in a counseling session?
Well, they can be various. They can be something between parents and children, some conflict, some communication gap. They can be some academic related, study related, or behavior related issues. They can also be things like confidence, they can also be things like stage fear, nervousness, unnecessary tension, etc.
You mentioned about all these issues, Chandni, but I've heard most of the parents as well as the people around saying, "My child is not mad." So do you really think he needs to be counseled by a counselor?
Well, that is very true. A lot of people still think that I'm not going to go to a counselor, I'm not mad. But we do see in our center a lot of people do make up calls, do take appointments, and drop in to take help. And this myth, this idea is slowly going away.
Wow, that's so nice. So the thing is, earlier we used to get inquiries wherein the population was from the college level. But nowadays we get inquiries at our center, even for a 3-year-old child or even a 5-year-old child, they find some issues and they want to meet the counselor. So do you really think at this age the child needs counseling?
Well, at this age or any other, the counseling is required when there is a conflict of issues. There are a lot of conflicts happening, and these days, with parents getting less and less time, having such a stressful and busy life, the kids also are having the effect of it. So, kids find less time with parents, kids find a lot of other stimulation around, a lot of TV, mobile, etc. And because of that, a lot of behavior issues are seen even in kids very young.
Oh, so can you just elaborate more on these issues, the counseling sessions? What are they really based on?
Well, in the counseling session, we basically focus not on giving a solution. We don't have a ready pill or anything like that. We usually work on the child's issue, we work on the student's attitudes, the student's skills. We try to give them an insight, we try to give them a different perspective to see their problem, and then work on and develop maybe some communication skills, maybe some other kind of skills, maybe a different way of thinking. That will help them to solve this problem as well as be ready for a different one.
Can you just elaborate how many sittings may be required when you talk about these sessions?
Usually people come in with an expectation that they're going to come up really fresh and out of their problems in maybe just one sitting. But that usually is not the case with counseling. In these kind of cases, it depends on the client, the efforts the client is going to put, the kind of determination the client would have, because this is basically undoing the earlier learning, undoing the earlier attitude and trying to learn a new one. So it does require time, it does require deliberate effort, and it could take, we usually generally start with 5 sittings and it could take longer.
Wow, which means it's a process. It's not like just having a tablet and finding out an answer for yourself.
Very
but tell me one thing, Chandni, do really students come? Is there a consistency in this counseling session scene?
There are clients who come in regularly and benefit from from these sessions and are able to really come up with a different attitude and able to solve their issues very well. We find a lot of parents coming in and telling that we don't want you to give them any medicine or anything. We just want you to, just talk to them maybe once or something and just sort out everything. Well, as we said earlier, it will not be sorted out in one session. But one thing I would like to make it very clear, Mugdha, that we do not give medicines. Medicines is not given by a psychologist, it's usually given by a psychiatrist depending on the case, depending on the severity, depending on what the case is like. So we usually go with therapy, we usually go with talking with the student, talking with the child, having a combined session with the parent and the child together at times, and that is how we try to help the client.
So what I've understood by this is if there are behavioral issues or some emotional issues, then it's better that we take help of a professional qualified psychologist for the counseling process. Is it right, Chandni?
That is true. A lot of times we have also seen parents telling that we don't want to get our kids into counseling because we don't, in our families we try to keep everything in the family itself. Or a lot of times people say that this is a Western concept. We didn't have any kind of counseling. We used to sort our things inside the home with uncles, discussing things with our elders in the family. Well, that is definitely a good thing, but we need to really understand that in counseling, we are not just aiming at comforting you. We are trying to give you some skills, we are trying to give you some perspectives, which is not going to help you only in the present condition or the present problem. It also prepares you for options or problems later. So it is a good idea to really seek help, seek counseling from professionals and not just stay with your family and keep everything secretive within the family.
So I think what we can conclude is by saying anyone who has behavioral or emotional issues, rather than discussing amongst friends, it's always better to take professional help or from a qualified counselor who would at least suggest you certain tips, pathways to overcome your problems.
That's true. So, if you liked today's episode, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and do subscribe.